So often, you get together with these organizations like this one, and what a great organization. You come together for a weekend, and you say, it's great. Where was I March 13th of 2010? I was in Chula Vista, Wisconsin, at this great confab. I was there. I heard Michael Reagan speak, and then I went home and did nothing but say I was there. We need to be vigilant. We need to be vigilant, and when we leave here, when this weekend is over, we need to go home and become engaged, because let me tell you something, the side that wants to take away our freedoms is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take away the freedoms that we enjoy in the United States of America. If you think about the enemies of freedom as termites who are working away and eating away at your foundations each and every day, it's not enough for us to show up every 2 years and see if we can tent the termites. We need to be working 24/7 every single day. Newt Gingrich asked me about a year ago, why is it that your father can be elected, or Newt Gingrich can be elected, or Lady Thatcher can be elected, and all of a sudden the party falls apart? And I said, because conservatives have a tendency to look at elections as an endpoint, not a beginning. Liberals, those people who are against our freedoms, see it as a beginning point, and they never stop. Just look what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. Everybody thought Scott Brown was going to be it, that as soon as he was elected in Massachusetts, everything went in, but they kept on moving and moving and moving. They haven't stopped, and they will not stop. That's why it is incumbent upon us not to just come to these meetings, but to do something after the meetings. You have a call to arms. My father's call to arms also reminds me of something else. Reminds me of the words of Thomas Jefferson, who in 1787, Jefferson then, I believe, was the ambassador to France at the time. He wrote a letter to a friend of his, a New York judge. His name was William Smith. In the letter, Jefferson commented on reports that he received about the Shays Rebellion, an armed uprising in Massachusetts led by Revolutionary veteran Daniel Shays. You see, there was 1,000 poor farmers there in Massachusetts, and they were upset at the debt and the taxation that in fact was going on. And so they rebelled. And because the government was so weak and couldn't respond immediately, this was a rebellion that lasted about 6 months. But what happened from that rebellion? The founding fathers looked at that rebellion. They were in the middle of looking at the Articles of Confederation. They thought, we better reevaluate what we have here. And so they did reevaluate. And the founding fathers decided to make a stronger document. And that document became the United States Constitution, because there was a call to arms, the Shays Rebellion. Thank you for that. Writing about the Shays Rebellion, Jefferson told Smith, quote, God forbid we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. If the people remain quiet, it is a lethargy, the forerunner of death to the public liberty. And what country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. That is a strong statement, and a troubling one. Notice especially the one line, let them take arms. Jefferson approved a call to arms. He literally said that in order to defend freedom from tyranny. America needed a bloody rebellion every 20 years or so, and Jefferson knew that the Revolutionary War had not solved the problem of tyranny and oppression for all time. In time, he felt even our own government would eventually become too radical and too oppressive. So Jefferson prescribed as the only solution periodic rebellions to remind our leaders that we, the people, reserve our God-given rights to resist the government. And he punctuated that pronouncement with the sobering reminder, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Well, the time that Jefferson foresaw certainly has come. We have reached a point where the very existence of the United States of America is threatened by a radical agenda of out-of-control spending, a radical agenda of out-of-control taxation, an out-of-control healthcare situation where the government is trying to take over the healthcare administration and everything to do with our lives. And trust me, folks, this is not about healthcare. This is about power. This is about the power to regulate what you do. Also, the agenda of nationalizing private industry, ruinous regulation, a welfare state, political correctness, and the list goes on and on and on. The tax code here in America today is infinitely more oppressive than the system of British taxes which prompted the American Revolution. Jefferson and the Founding Fathers would be hard-pressed today to recognize our America as their America. They would say to us, what are you people waiting for? It's time for another revolution. Our freedom is at stake. Our children's future is at stake. Our Constitution is at stake. It is indeed time for another revolution. Am I calling for bloodshed and armed rebellion? No. We have not reached a point in America where the only solution is armed uprising, but Jefferson was right about this. We do need a good, noisy rebellion every 20 years or so. It's been about 30 years since the start of the Reagan Revolution. We're overdue for an uprising. Our leaders are overdue for a mad-as-hell warning that we, the people, have had it with their arrogance, their corruption, their squandering of our children's heritage, and their tickle parties. And we're not going to take it anymore. Ronald Reagan issued a call to arms in 1976. Today, that call to arms is being echoed right here in this room. It's being echoed at tea parties across this nation. It's being echoed in the halls of Congress by people such as yourself. From sea to shining sea, that call to arms is being echoed. Our so-called leaders either ridicule us, don't pay attention, or pretend not to hear us at all. We need to make them pay for that by getting rid of those leaders in the upcoming elections in November of this year.